There's a truth about attraction that very few men are ever taught, something hidden behind the noise of modern dating advice. It's the quiet truth that doesn't come from pickup lines, texting tricks, or fake confidence. It comes from a deep understanding of emotional dynamics. And it starts with something simple. Most men are giving too much too soon, especially with compliments. You think you're being sweet, thoughtful, kind. But what she hears, what she feels deep in her subconscious, is something very different. It starts the moment you tell her she's beautiful, the moment you flood her phone with praise, the moment you try to prove that you're different from other guys by being the one who's always supportive, always admiring, always nice. You think this will make her want you. But it doesn't. It makes her evaluate you. It makes her question why you're trying so hard. It makes her wonder what you're compensating for. And once she starts asking those questions, the emotional energy changes. Because attraction isn't built on kindness alone. It's built on contrast, on polarity, on a subtle tension between what's said and what's withheld. And every time you compliment a woman who hasn't earned it, who hasn't worked to impress you, who hasn't invested anything real into the connection, you're telling her that your value is dependent on her attention. You're placing yourself below her, even if your words sound nice on the surface. And that energy, even when wrapped in flattery, repels her. You might think, what's the harm in telling a woman she's pretty? And the answer is nothing if it's genuine, rare, and delivered at the right moment. But what most men are doing is using compliments as currency, as a way to buy affection, as a way to signal interest before there's a foundation for it. And women, whether consciously or not, are experts at interpreting the meaning behind your words. They feel the neediness behind over-validation. They feel the lack of confidence in your tone. Even if your compliments are poetic, they feel the hidden agenda, and it makes them pull back. Because here's the brutal truth. Women don't value words, they value energy. They value your ability to hold your center, your ability to remain calm, grounded, and selective. When a man gives validation too freely, too eagerly, he strips his words of meaning. And the more he praises her without making her earn it, the more she sees him as replaceable. Because only a man who believes he has less value than her feels the need to prove himself through praise. The man who knows his worth doesn't need to say much. His presence already says everything. Let's go deeper. Think about the men women obsess over, the ones they can't stop thinking about, the ones who stay in their minds for years. Were those men overflowing with compliments? Did they flood her with attention every day? Or were they calm, composed, unpredictable? Did they hold back, create mystery, and allow her to wonder where she stood? The answer is obvious, but most men ignore it because it's uncomfortable. It requires self-restraint. It requires emotional control. It requires you to not do what your instincts are screaming at you to do, because attraction isn't logical. It's emotional, and emotions are driven by contrast, tension, and uncertainty. When a woman knows everything about how you feel when she hears you compliment her, every time she breathes when she knows you emotionally all in, before she has even decided what she wants, she gets bored. Not because you're not good enough, but because you've removed the mystery. And mystery is the fuel of desire. Here's a scenario most men have lived through. You meet a woman. You're attracted to her. You start texting, maybe go on a date or two. And then, because you like her, you start giving compliments. You tell her how special she is, how beautiful she looks, how lucky you feel to be around her. You think you're building rapport, but slowly her energy changes. Her responses get shorter, her interest fades, and eventually she disappears. And you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? What you did wrong was give too much without her earning any of it. You gave her the ending of the book before she even flipped through the first chapter. You gave her certainty before she gave you curiosity. You thought you were being romantic, but in her eyes, you were just being easy. Now let's flip it. Let's say you meet the same woman, but this time you don't rush. You don't flatter her immediately. You stay grounded, curious, but not over-invested. She sends you a picture. You don't immediately say you look amazing. Instead, you respond with calm energy. Maybe a subtle smirk, maybe a playful tease, maybe just silence. She gets curious. She wonders what you're thinking. She starts investing more. She starts working to impress you. And that shift where she starts giving energy instead of just receiving it is the foundation of real attraction. The truth is, the compliment isn't the problem. It's the timing. It's the frequency. It's the intention. A compliment means everything when it's rare. When it comes from a man who doesn't need to give it. When it lands in a moment where it feels earned. That's when it hits her differently. That's when it leaves a mark. Not because the words are better, but because the energy behind them is strong, unshaken, selective. You want to be that man. The man who doesn't speak to win favor. The man who doesn't chase. The man who knows that his value is already present in the way he carries himself, in the way he listens, in the way he observes before acting. That man doesn't need to convince a woman of anything. His stillness is the signal. His restraint is the attraction. And when he does speak, when he does give a compliment, it becomes powerful, memorable, desired. Let her come to you with a dress. Let her show you her new nails. Let her ask, "Do you like it?" That's the moment you give something, not too much. Not with a desperate smile, but with calm energy. Yeah, looks good. 6 out of 10 tone. Neutral, controlled. Let her feel the contrast between your relaxed energy and the validation she was seeking. Let her work a little harder for the next one. That's how you create tension. That's how you build desire. And if she asks, "Why don't you compliment me more?" you don't get defensive. You smile. You say, "I only speak when I mean it," or "I don't say things just to say them." And then you go quiet. That silence, it will echo in her mind for days. Not because you said something profound, but because your energy told her something deeper. I don't need to impress you. I'm already enough. So what's the real lesson here? It's not about never giving compliments. It's about earning the right to give them. It's about protecting your value, holding your frame, and understanding that attention is a currency. If you spend it too fast, it becomes worthless. But if you save it, if you give it in the right moment, it becomes priceless. That's how you flip the dynamic. That is how you stop being the man who chases and become the man who is remembered. Not because you gave her everything, but because you knew when to give her nothing. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos that explore the truth about male power, female psychology, and the art of emotional discipline. Because attraction isn't found in what you say, it's found in what you withhold.